I think the misnomer that we also find is that we think that it's all about technology. Well, quite frankly, in my financial services history, I've applied this innovation thinking to a leverage finance business where we actually used a D-school approach to saying, how do we change the way we look at leverage finance, which is clearly not technology driven? And we did profound things.
Hello, my name is Peter Lavers and welcome to the Customer Centricity Corner, brought to you by Customer Attuned Limited. In this series, I'm discussing different aspects of customer centricity in the business-to-business sector, which is also known as B2B. Our focus in these short interviews is on practicalities rather than nice theory. How do we provide leadership, the leadership required to make our places of work more customer-centric? I'm speaking with a range of practitioners and experts in the subject, each with different insights to share. And I'm delighted to introduce Douglas Lines for our discussion today, which focuses in on innovation. Douglas's background is in business banking, which is where I first met him. More recently, he has been applying new technologies for business model innovation and cultural transformation. So I'm keen to get his take on how to do this in a customer-centric way. Welcome, Douglas. Thanks for joining us. Can I start by asking about B2B companies' motivations to innovate and then the strategic approaches they take? You've talked about outside in. What does that mean and how can it help us innovate?
Peter, good morning and wonderful to be here, and thank you. Well, it's a topic that I'm enormously passionate about, having, as you rightly said, been in financial services for some time, and also having built a innovation business, having learned some things that went really well and some things that didn't. And then lastly, just in the last couple of years, having co-authored a book on digital innovation and been exposed to some of the best and brightest minds in the world, in both academia and business. Yeah, when I look at organizations, and I see it all the time, is that typically when we talk about innovation, it's generally done from their own internal segmentations of how businesses internally segment themselves. And so I refer to that as an inside-out view. And that's very limiting. I think in the world that we live in now, we really want to look at the world through our customers' eyes and not through our own eyes. And so I see that as something very powerful. What really corroborates that is horizon thinking. So horizon 1 is to grow a business, horizon 2 is to transform a business, and horizon 3 is to innovate brand new businesses. Many executives actually spend most of their time, and I know I was one of them, on the operational treadmill of horizon 1, and dabbled in horizon 2 of transforming businesses. Very few executives actually spend time in thinking about new innovation of new businesses. I think the other thing that's really I'm passionate about is to really understand the difference in definition between transformation and innovation. Transformation is really an existing business model that you are adapting. And so when we talk about, for example, in financial services, we're digitizing client experiences. Many banks refer to that as digital innovation. Quite frankly, it's not. It's actually just digital transformation. Digital innovation is creating, for example, in financial services, a new fintech, a new edtech, subsidiary that is a brand new offering to a brand new set of customers. And so when we look at, again, customer centricity, and we start to apply a belief and a thought leadership around seeing the world through not only existing customers, but future customers that we could be adding value through in terms of our core assets and capabilities, it becomes a lot more powerful. I fundamentally believe that having a systematic approach to horizon 3 thinking, which is more the innovation side of things, it gives far greater success. And so there's two very powerful philosophies that I'm very proud to have been involved in and have experience in, is design thinking, having built a D school with Stanford and Duke, and a philosophy which is more newer to me, which is called jobs to be done. Both of these philosophies, hand in hand, are key critical components of a systematic approach to innovation. At the heart of those two approaches is a deep empathetic view of human sciences and human thinking around the customer and what makes the customer do the things that they do. And so again, I think when one applies an overall systematic approach to innovation and thinking around innovation, but more importantly, some of those really powerful tools that embed themselves as part of that process, you get a very different view of your customer's vantage point. I think the misnomer that we also find is that we think that it's all about technology. Well, quite frankly, in my financial services history, I've applied this innovation thinking to a leverage finance business where we actually used a D-school approach to saying, how do we change the way we look at leverage finance, which is clearly not technology driven? And we did profound things. So I think, again, for us, it comes back to the fact that decision makers, from a customer's point of view, will always be humans. And with all the amazing things that technology unlocks and enables in all our various business models, is that it is still a human that is making decisions that we need to connect with, that we need to build trust with at all levels. And again, through these innovation processes, in my experience, you build wonderful relationships when you innovate with your customers and your potential new customers. So the last thing I want to leave with you is to say that fundamentally, part of customer centricity and innovation is building trust, not only trust in a process of innovation, but building trust with engaging, asking deeply refined questions of these particular customer segments, and then actually listening carefully. I think that's the other thing some of us aren't always good at, and you need to build on that skill set. And then from there, through careful listening, is to see wonderful opportunities to make a real difference to customers and potential new customers that you're looking at. So again, I'm super passionate about this subject. I'm sure I could talk forever on it, but I just wanted to touch on those key soundbites of the power of outside-in thinking, the power of a systematic approach to innovation, the tools that you can use that deepen a far greater view of customer centricity, and then just the power of unlocking the flame in people's hearts, whether that's customers or staff versus under the butts. I think that's just unlocks something amazing. So everything that we do is around people. So yeah, I just maybe pause there and allow you to ask some questions.
No, that's brilliant insight. Thank you so much, Douglas. Any advice for us on how to get better at actually commercializing innovation? So having the ideas, having the why and the how and the what kind of thing. But so what about the actual commercialization? Any hints and tips for us?
Yeah, I think when we look at the success of startups, and we know that one of the biggest failures is that startups tend to, whether it be a startup standalone or a startup within a commercial environment, is that they haven't done enough rigor around things like minimum viable product testing and customer testing. Again, in terms of one's success, it's about engaging with customers at every point, and it's that virtual circle of learning and reiterating your offering as you go. But the key, Peter, in my experience, is innovate with your customers. Listen to their feedback very carefully, reiterate, retest, and I think you will see a far greater success. And of course, that's just one small component of the innovation cycle. Clearly, what I advise, and what's amazing in the book that we created, is the overall systematic approach. When you have a systematic approach, it's far better than having a couple of coffees and by hook or by crook you come up with something. It's a disciplined approach to innovation. It's a culture of innovation that you build in your business. And again, coming specifically in this point here, it's around that client intimacy. And clients love it. And clients love it when you ask them to participate in that, you share with them what we innovate in, because they learn a lot about themselves. So my advice is the more you can innovate in front of customers versus in your boardrooms and in your offices, the better.
Thank you so much, Douglas. I really appreciate the insights that you've shared in just this short time. A lot to take in. For me, just a key takeout from what I've heard in this brief chat, for all of us who are passionate about customer centricity, is that it provides the best kind of why. I talked about the why, the what, and the how, and a lot of sessions that you hear that we do like this are around the what and the how and the process of innovation. But actually, for those of us who are passionate about customer centricity, we need to be champions for the why. Why are we innovating? And you've expressed that so well. Thank you so much. And our purpose at Customer Attuned is to build a culture of customer centricity based on trust, which you mentioned as well. And that's to establish sustainable, mutually beneficial and profitable B2B relationships. And to the watchers and listeners, please go to our website, which is customerattuned.com. To get the links to this and the rest of the series, and we'll put a link to Douglas's book as well. I hope that what you've heard today has been useful to you and helps you become more customer centric in the way you lead and drive innovation in your business. Thank you for listening, and thanks again, Douglas, for being our speaker today.
Thanks, Peter.